Mercedes teammate Kimi Antonelli to pole position during qualifying on Saturday night. Russell went ahead of Antonelli with the final lap of the session, finishing 0.068 seconds ahead of the Drivers' Championship leader. McLaren's Lando Norris will start third on the grid ahead of his teammate Oscar Piastri, whilst Ferrari's Lewis Hamilton was fifth quickest. Elsewhere, and in the NBA, the New York Knicks have moved to within one win of reaching the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999 after claiming a 121-108 victory over Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 3 of their Eastern Conference Series. The Knicks can now wrap up the series success with a victory at the Rocket Arena during the early hours of Tuesday morning. No NBA team has ever recovered a 3-0 series deficit in playoff history, so the omens aren't good for the Cavs. New York had a number of star performers in Game 3, including Jalen Brunson, who top scored with 30 points, whilst Mikal Bridges contributed 22 of his own. Finally, in golf, Siwoo Kim will take a two-shot lead into the final round of the CJ Cup Byron Nelson on Sunday. That's after the South Korean carded a 3-under 6.
Afternoon, but in the stands, of course, with that ruptured Achilles. 3 changes made by both managers coming into this one. From the last game, Liverpool lost 4-2 against Aston Villa. Last time out, Brentford drew late on 2-2 with Crystal Palace. Liverpool see Alisson returning between the sticks ahead of Mamardashvili. Andy Robertson starts his final game for Liverpool. He comes in for Milos Kerkez, and Mo Salah starts his final game for Liverpool as well. He comes in over Joe Gomez. As for Brentford, the former Liverpool pairing Jordan Henderson and Sepp van den Berg return to the side ahead of Yeho Yarmouk and Christopher Ayer. There's also a start as well for Kevin Schade, who replaces Mikkel Damsgaard. 3 minutes into this game, independent of Tube Studio-based commentary. Still Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but it's Liverpool that have started on top with the most energy. Brentford, though, will look to cause some issues now after a long ball forward from former Liverpool goalkeeper Caoimhín Kelleher. There's 3 former Liverpool players in this Brentford side this afternoon, so 3 players familiar with the Anfield pitch, although Van den Berg didn't feature too often for Liverpool, it has to be said, in his time on Merseyside. Salah now driving forward, attempts a ball into the box, is blocked well by Keane Lewis-Potter, who will try and see it out for a goal kick. In the end, he's conceded a corner, an opportunity for Liverpool to get the ball into the box. A positive start for the Reds early on.
Oh, it is. Liverpool completely dominant in these first 3.5 minutes. Brentford really struggling to get anything over the halfway line. They had a brief moment of possession before Liverpool charged up the other end. Not the best defender, Keane Lewis-Potter. He is really a winger by trade, and he was trying to shield that ball away. In the end, forced to touch it out now for a corner.
He's got a lot better, I think, defensively this season, Keane Lewis-Potter.
He has. I mean, I think he's just by design, the fact that he's had to have so many games at left back with Brentford's regular defenders out injured, but it's a short corner.
Corner taken short, eventually to Andy Robertson, who will float a left-footed ball into the box, headed towards goal by Konate. Comfortable save in the end for Caoimhín Kelleher, but first shot on target. In this one, it's gone the way of Liverpool, and Ibrahima Konate with it, testing his former teammate. Comfortable save, though, for Caoimhín Kelleher, and the Bees will now look to try and play out from the back. Here it is with Vitaly Janelt in the midfield. We'll just play it short to Nathan Collins. Ball down line for Coyote, away from Ngamo, but not away from McAllister. And ball forcefully played out of play by the Argentinian Forrest, though. And giving you a chance to run you through the lineups in full. For Liverpool, it's Alisson in goal. The back four, Robertson, Van Dijk, Konate and Jones. Midfield 2 of McAllister and Gravenberch, with Ngamo, Soboslai and Salah supporting Cody Gakpo up top. As for Brentford, it's Kelleher in goal. The back four, Coyote, Van den Berg, Collins in Lewis-Potter. I'll break off. Liverpool have won the ball back in midfield. Here's Mo Salah. Ball over onto the far side is overhit, looking for McAllister, and they'll have to go back towards halfway to get it going again. Midfield 2 for Brentford of Henderson and Janelt, with Ouattara, Jensen and Schade supporting Igor Thiago through the middle. Igor Thiago, of course, called up to the Brazilian national side for the World Cup by Carlo Ancelotti. Looks set to finish as the Premier League's second top goal scorer this season. How important has he been for Brentford this campaign? Because he's really set the world alight this season.
Oh, he has. I mean, you take out Igor Thiago Thiago's presence and his goals this season, and I don't think Brentford will be in the top half of the league at all. He has been instrumental in that, and it's, as I say, with all the talk of false nines, as Kelleher just dawdles on the ball a little bit inside his own 6-yard box, does eventually clear it. With all the talk of false nines and no sort of out-and-out strikers, it's nice just to see a big, stocky forward playing for Brentford and getting plenty of goals, although, of course, there's already talk that there might be interest from Chelsea, which is ironic, of course, because he's actually ousted a Chelsea player in João Pedro, who's not made the Brazil squad.
No, he hasn't, much to the disappointment of the former Brighton Hove Albion man. Reminder that there are, of course, 9 other Premier League games this afternoon, all of which are available on this service, some of which have more at stake than others. One that has absolutely nothing at stake whatsoever is Burnley against Wolves at Turf Moor. An early penalty for Wolves, and that one will wait for confirmation as to whether it has been scored or not, but potentially the first goal of the afternoon going the way of the visitors, and indeed it has been scored. So Wolves, who look set to finish bottom of the Premier League table this season, have taken the lead through Adam Armstrong. Either way, whoever finishes bottom, both sides will be playing Championship football next season, and with that goal, Wolves do move clear of the bottom of the table. A bit of momentum going into the next season. Perhaps a reminder that probably the big 2 games this afternoon are Spurs playing host to Everton and West Ham playing host to Leeds. A reminder that if West Ham win and Spurs lose, West Ham will get themselves out of the relegation zone and Spurs will indeed be relegated. But anything but a West Ham win and a Spurs loss, and West Ham will be relegated back down to the Championship once more. Brentford now coming forward on their first attack of the afternoon. Ball to the box for Sharda, who he gets up, but he doesn't get the perch on the ball he'd like. Comfortably wide of the woodwork in the end.
Yes, Lewis Potter with the ball from the left-hand side. If anything, that ball is probably just got a little bit too much height. It's not really a whipped ball in, it's like a floated ball in, so there's not really any pace for Sharda to attack with that header, and in the end he doesn't really generate any power and he heads it wide.
Yeah, no direction either from the German, but still a first attack forward for Brentford, and positive signs that they're going to get space down that far side with Keane Lewis Potter and Dunga Ouattara looking to, Keane Lewis Potter and Kevin Sharda. Ouattara on this occasion was over on the far side, but both of which can look to get joy running up against Curtis Jones. It's a pretty light right-hand side from a Liverpool point of view, with Mo Salah and Curtis Jones making up that far side. Salah not known for his defensive work rate, and Curtis Jones certainly not known for being a right-back.
No, absolutely. And you mentioned there that Ouattara and Sharda seem to switch. They've been doing that a little bit more in the last couple of months for Keith Andrews, where one, you would expect always Ouattara to be the left footer cutting in from the right, but occasionally for a 5-10 minute spell they do actually switch, and they have Sharda playing on the right and Ouattara on the left. But on this occasion it is Ouattara now on the right, trying to head towards that penalty area.
Has featured a few times for Germany, Kevin Sharda, but not called up to the World Cup by Julian Nagelsmann on this occasion. Still got plenty of time, you'd imagine, to feature at a World Cup, given he's only 24 years of age, but disappointment on this occasion. There's further disappointment for Brentford as they came forward initially there, but an overhit pass sees the ball out of play for a goal kick, which Van Dijk will take short to Alisson. Now, we mentioned earlier on in the game that there are 2 players, 2 Liverpool legends, it has to be said, that are leaving the club come the end of the season. That's been confirmed, Mo Salah and Andy Robertson departing the club come the end of the 90 minutes this afternoon. Alisson, another one who, while yet not been confirmed, has very heavily been linked with a departure away from Liverpool. It's certainly one to keep an eye on, his reaction at the end of the game. He said he's not desperate to stay, and if the right offer comes, he would leave, or at least that's the reports that he'd be willing to depart the club. Would that be a mistake for Liverpool, letting him go to Juventus? It seems the most likely party, or is it maybe one where Mohamed Ashrafili's done well enough this season?
Well, it's I suppose, I mean, if it was to be the case that Alisson is allowed to leave, if he wants to leave, I mean, if you've got a top player who's hinting that he doesn't quite feel like he wants to stay at the club anymore, is there any point in forcing him to stay? And I suppose the second question for that would be, is Mamardashvili good enough to be a 40 plus game per season goalkeeper for Liverpool? I would say that it might be a risk to just sort of start the season with that assumption. He may need some competition as well.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, I was going to say Freddie Woodman could offer a bit of competition, given he's had to step in even at times this season. Didn't do too badly either, the former Preston North End and Newcastle goalkeeper, as that's almost a chance for Brentford to break forward there, as Gravenberch gave the ball away, but Igor Thiago couldn't get the ball out of his feet, and now Liverpool will drive forward. Here's Dominic Szoboszlai, moves on to the left-hand side for Robertson, Further wide for Ngamoa, who again is one-on-one with Coyote. Ngamoa drifts into the penalty and now stepping towards the byline. Coyote does brilliantly. Excellent from the Italian fullback to take the ball away from Ngamoa and feed Igor Thiago, who's got a bit of space now down the left-hand side to drive forward into. Canate's had to step across into the fullback space to put pressure on. Igor Thiago now will look to try and turn provider, but I think that's why he doesn't find himself too far out wide on too many occasions, because that's a massively overhit pass looking for Dongo Ouattara.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame as well, because it was Igor Thiago a moment earlier that he's the one that miscontrolled the ball in the middle of the park that it's lost possession from Brentford. On that occasion, he was forced out wide, overhit the pass by some way, but here come Liverpool now, although the pass from Gravenberch potentially overhit here for Salah.
Yeah, quite possibly. Salah does well enough to keep it in, but he's not got a run here on Keanu Espot, so we'll play it back to Cody Gakpo, who's barely mentioned so far in this game, as he continues to deputise up front in the absence of Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak, although the Swedish international is fit enough for the bench this afternoon, which is always good to see, as is Wataru Endo, who spent an extended period of time on the sidelines with a knee injury. He returns to the Liverpool squad this afternoon. He's also in the Japan World Cup squad as well, so he'll be leading his country into another World Cup. Will the former Stuttgart man. Florian Wirtz also on the bench this afternoon, having missed time through illness. There's a ball on the far side once again for Mohamed Salah. Looks to try and have a run here at Keanu Espot. Sharda, though, back in support of the former Hull City man. And an opportunity for Brentford to break forward. Just as I say that, Soboslai does well enough to get back at Kevin Sharda and win the ball back. Of course, Hull City, one of the three sides promoted from the Championship, who will feature next season in the Premier League after winning the playoff final against Middlesbrough by 1-0. Yesterday, Ollie McBurney with the winner in that one. I'm sure Keanu Espot will be happy to see his former side back in the Premier League, and I'm sure he'll enjoy playing back on Humberside next season when he travels away with Brentford to face the Tigers. In this game though, 12 minutes gone, independent off Tube studio-based commentary, still Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Only the one half chance for either of these two sides. It fell the way of Ibrahim Konate, who forced an average save out of Queven Kelleher, it has to be said, but a save needed to be made by the Irish international. As Liverpool now in possession over on the far side with Curtis Jones into Mo Salah. Chip ball down the line looking towards Ryan Gravenberch. Passes overhit, and that's going to go straight out of play for a Brentford goal kick. I think it's a difficult one because in ordinary circumstances, this at the minute suits Keith Andrews down to the ground. Liverpool committing bodies forward, not really making too many inroads. They can come forward on the counter-attack, but the fact of the matter is Brentford really do need to win this game.
They do need to win the game, so just sitting back and hoping that they can counter Liverpool, that's a start of that's the plan for the start of the game. But at some point, Brentford are going to have to commit a little bit more going forward, and that's potentially when they can leave themselves open at the back, as well as Collins has been forced there to just stab the ball out for a throw after a ball in towards Salah. He's just about kept in play on that right-hand side. But yeah, from Liverpool's point of view, they started very brightly. Now potentially maybe just going through the motions a little bit. They just need to try and turn it up a bit just to put more pressure on Brentford.
Yeah, absolutely. Here it is with Dominic Soboslai to Alexis McAllister, 35 yards away from goal. The Argentinian now will chip a ball over the top lung towards Salah. Loose first touch, sees a challenge coming from Collins, and then that's a foul on Keane Lewis Potter from Curtis Jones, who was a little bit too eager to win the ball back off of the fullback, and brings down the Brentford man. Let's see a replay of it now. He's not overly happy with Curtis Jones. You can understand why. He was a little bit overzealous from Curtis Jones, who is another who's been linked with a move away from Liverpool at the end of this season. Don't think him and Arne Slot are the best of friends, it has to be said, and Inter Milan reportedly very interested in the Millward Academy graduates.
Well, he's got to ask himself as well, I mean, how many more seasons does he want to be a sort of appearance once every 3 or 4 games, starting once every 5 or 6 when the other players are out injured? This is his boyhood club, and he would love to be able to become a regular here, but at some point he has to look at it and say it's not looking very likely. But here come Liverpool now. Yeah, space over on the far side for Salah, looking towards Cody Gakpo. Challenge comes in and put out of play by Nathan Collins for a corner over on the far side. Bit of a grimace there from the Republic of Ireland international and Brentford skipper. He recognises his side was a little bit too open for his liking on that occasion, and a chance for Liverpool to come forward, but that pass towards Cody Gakpo just not quite good enough from Curtis Jones. Actually it was in the end, but an opportunity now for Liverpool from the set piece over on the far side. Salah to take, so a left-footed in-swing from the Liverpool right. The last one over on that far side was taken short by Mo Salah.
What does he choose to do with this one? I think he's going to whip this one in. Indeed, he does with his left boot towards the 6-yard box. Kelleher punches away initially, not far though. Here's Ngamoa on his left boot. Too many bodies in front of him. Shot blocked. Still though, Ngamoa in possession, trying to get away from Jensen. Gravenberg now edge of the box. Feeds Salah how much he'd like a goal on his final appearance for Liverpool. Chip one to the box instead. Is headed away by Collins. And then eventually Brentford do well enough to win the throw over on the far side. Clear tactic from Liverpool up against their former goalkeeper. Try and crowd out Kelleher from the corner. On this occasion, the Republic of Ireland international does just enough to get the ball away from danger initially, but not convincing from Brentford.
But he's not that good on crosses, Kelleher. I know that's a bit simplistic to just sum it up like that, but it is a fact that he just doesn't look very confident on crosses, and I would imagine every Premier League side has learned that this season, but Liverpool will know that better than anybody else, having had him here for so many years, that he's got plenty of good qualities as a goalkeeper, but being confident when balls are being whipped in is not one of those qualities. Yeah,
totally agree. Huge fan of Caoimhín Kelleher. I thought he would have a number of teams looking for his signature last summer, and it was pretty clear he's going to leave Liverpool. I think he's a really, really good replacement for Mark Flecken, because he was a fantastic goalkeeper in his own right for Brentford.
He was. He started off very nervously, and he actually cost Brentford a number of games at the start. But then actually by the time he left, I know Brentford fans were a little bit surprised to see him leaving, because they thought he was getting settled in. But Kelleher has come in and proved himself to be a very good replacement. And overall, I think that when you think that this season Brentford started without Flecken, without Norgard, without Mbeumo, without Wissa, and without Thomas Frank, the fact that they're in a position where they could potentially be less than 90 minutes away from a place in Europe, I think is a really good achievement.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something we'll go on to speak about further later on in the game. Brentford's fantastic season. I know that they're in one of the lowest positions they've been in all season, but the fact of the matter is they are so incredibly close to European football.
Well, they are, and most pundits dark horse for relegation at the start of the season with the manager change and all Keith Andrews. It's a big risk. Most people were saying if the three promoted sides don't go down, have a look at Brentford as potentially a team to go down, and their relegation odds fell very quickly at the start of the season. But as I say, in the end, they were able to avoid relegation with about 10 or 12 games to spare.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been really, really impressive this season, Brentford. I've been very impressed with Keith Andrews and how expansive he's managed to get Brentford to play at times. Break off because Liverpool moving well in midfield. Jordan Henderson has been bypassed there by one pass through the middle. Here's Ryan Gravenberg away from one, away from two. Was he fouled there? Referee Darren England says yes. Matthias Jensen back there doing a bit of defensive work, and in the end his trailing leg has caught Ryan Gravenberg, and yeah, I think that's the right decision for the referee.
It is. I don't think there's anything else that Darren England could have done. I think that Jensen had made his mind up that he's going to try and stop Gravenberg, and he quite purposely did it, making sure it was outside the box. But in any case, it's still giving Liverpool a very good chance to go for goal in from just outside the penalty area.
Yeah, an opportunity for the home side to cause some issues from this set piece. Seeing clips on social media of both Dominic Szoboszlai and Mo Salah practicing free kicks in training this week. Looks as though it's going to be Dominic Szoboszlai to place the ball, which normally suggests he's going to be the one to hit it. He's gone with the long sleeves this afternoon, Dominic Szoboszlai, but he's very quickly rolled them up. So the kit almost has a bit of an awkward fit to it, but it is a really nice
Salah's
number.
got long sleeves on as well.
Yeah, Mo Salah's Egyptian though, isn't he? I don't think he'd be hot anywhere in the world, Mo Salah. Yeah. But yeah, I've got to say, I've already mentioned that I'm a huge fan of the Liverpool kit that they'll be wearing next season.
It's not to the one that had candy on the front
yes,
of it
it is.
back in the day.
It absolutely is. Yeah. They've Adidas's first two home kits for Liverpool, or first set of kits for Liverpool. They've gone retro on both occasions, which I've been a big fan of. Fantastic kits this season, and it looks as though they're going to be great next season as well. Salah with the free kick. Oh, he struck the woodwork. Oh, how close was that from Mohamed Salah? And then on the rebounds, spawned wide by Ryan Gravenberg. Mo Salah, I didn't think was going to hit it. Dominic Szoboszlai placed the ball, but it was the left-footed Mo Salah. And how close was that to a fantastic parting gift for the Egyptian?
It's very close, because it's not actually the outside of the post, it's the middle of the post, isn't it? And then it just ricochets back into the middle of the penalty area before the rebound is sent over the bar. But that was the free kick that I like to call the sort of the collar-off free kick, where the left footer shoots from the left-hand side around the outside of the wall, and he very nearly got it absolutely perfect.
Yeah, he certainly did. A really great effort from Mo Salah, the closest either side has gotten to finding the lead in this game. I can say that another team have found the lead elsewhere. Fulham 1-0 up at home against Newcastle. It's a Diop with the goal in that one. 20 minutes gone in all games across the Premier League, and we've only seen 2 goals in 10 matches One from Adam Armstrong for Wolves from the penalty spot, and now it's a Diop for Fulham against Newcastle. Here come Liverpool now down the right side once again. Salah away from one, straight towards goal, tipped over the crossbar from a narrow angle by Queeving Kelleher. Brentford all of a sudden under a little bit of pressure. You can imagine the Anfield crowd will have gotten up after that woodwork effort from Mo Salah. 20 minutes gone at Anfield, independent of studio-based commentary. Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. The Reds, though, have come very, very close moments ago through Mohamed Salah, who's now gone over onto the far side to take this corner. Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate both up from the back inside the 6-yard box, sent towards the near post by Mo Salah, not convincingly dealt with initially by Brentford, but eventually the strike comes in from McAllister, comfortably high and wide and out of play for a goal kick. He thinks that took a deflection, Alexis McAllister. Referee Darren England disagrees, and it's out of play for a Brentford goal kick. As Brentford, I think, will just take their time for this moment, just to allow themselves to get back into this game, as we have a little bit of a stoppage as well, because Liverpool, for the final time this season, I'll break off because that's great skill from Dominic Szoboszlai into the penalty area. Now the Hungarian straight towards goal, wide of the far post. Brilliant run from Dominic Szoboszlai on his weaker left boot, just drags the effort wide.
He does drag it wide. It's almost like he couldn't believe he suddenly got into a goal scoring position. There was the move once he got into the penalty area. He takes a shot with his weaker left foot, just drags it wide. But Liverpool looking more and more dangerous now.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Brentford were going to, sort of ease things for a moment there from that goal kick and just take the time over it and settle down. But the space opened up there for Dominic Szoboszlai, and in the end, he's rather unfortunate. He couldn't find that effort into the bottom corner, and Brentford once again have a goal kick. And you assume this time was going to go long, because the last one went short, and they played themselves into some problems. First ball, though, won by Virgil van Dijk. He looks to try and nod it down the line. Won by Vandenberg, and he'll take the ball away from Cody Gakpo. He wanted to take that throw in quicker, but nobody really showing for him. And in the end, it'll be Andy Robertson to take, who hasn't got anybody in a red shirt showing for him at the moment. He'll take his time over it. He won't be able to take that long in the World Cup, because they're going to limit it to 8 seconds per throw-in, which, in my eyes, it might be a little bit short, but I'm at least happy that that they're doing something about it.
I think when you consider, I would like that rule introduced for free kicks and corners in that case, because to me, I find it outrageous how long it takes to take a corner. Free kick, yes, when you've got to decide who's doing what and sometimes trying to get everyone into position, but the fact that it takes a while to set up corner kicks, the long throws, I mean, I understand why they want the game to speed up, but really, all of what it still amazes me that football's never considered introducing a stop clock. We as fans have all been conditioned into thinking that it's fine for the clock to just tick down when players have a drink, when players are injured, when there's a VAR stoppage. The clock should just stop when all this happens. But in the meantime, we have actually got a drinks break here now, with the heat being over 25 degrees today.
Yeah, it just shows how hot it is this weekend, this bank holiday weekend. Happy days for all of us across the UK. I'm sure there'll be many out enjoying the sun this afternoon, and rightly so. Darren England does bring a pause to the game so players can take on fluids. Can't bring you news of another goal, by the way, right before the drinks break in Manchester. Manchester City have taken a 1-goal lead at home against Aston Villa. Big goal out for Liverpool, by the way. If Liverpool win this afternoon and Aston Villa lose, Liverpool will move up to 4th, provided goal difference stays the way it is, which it will do if results go the way Liverpool need to. Said Antoine Semenyo with the goal. Pep Guardiola's final game in charge of Manchester City. It feels like there's a lot of eras that are coming to an end across the Premier League this afternoon. Andy Robertson, arguably Liverpool's greatest ever left-back, departs the club this afternoon. Mohamed Salah, one of, if not the best player in the last 50 years for Liverpool, he'll depart the club. Pep Guardiola, probably Manchester City's greatest ever manager, he's leaving this afternoon. Bernardo Silva as well, another player departing Manchester City by the looks of things come the end of this afternoon's game. I'm sure there's some others that I've missed as well.
There's a big question mark over Marco Silva at Fulham, I think, as well.
Big player in Fulham's career, in Fulham's recent history.
Yeah. But certainly and of course Enzo Maresca now confirmed as although not confirmed by the club, but pretty much confirmed by the media that he's the one coming back to England now as the new Man City manager. But yeah, it's going to be a fascinating summer, and it's always the case when you have a World Cup as well, because you're always going to get a couple of players from from dare I say it, the sort of the lesser nations that surprise you. There's going to be a couple of players from Asia or South America that might do something that suddenly get on everybody's shopping list. But interestingly enough, just as I say that, there's a goal in the northeast that will be of great interest to Brentford, because Sunderland have just taken the lead against Chelsea.
They have indeed, and it's Trey Hume with the goal in that one. What a season that man has had. I mean, virtually the entire squad from last season wiped out this season, which has seen Sunderland do very well. But Trey Hume has stayed in the starting line throughout most of the season and has done very, very well at left back, it has to be said. We've taken to the second quarter of this one after the drinks break. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. Still Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fascinating game so far. And take us through to half-time. We're going to hand it over to Paul.
Thank you very much, Luke. Yeah, just a quick glance at what's happening in North and in East London. It's still goalless between Spurs and Everton, but Spurs have had 9 efforts on goal in that game. Every single one of them has been off target, however. And in the game at the London Stadium between West Ham and Leeds, it is still goalless, but West Ham have had 2 efforts on target. Leeds have had a couple of efforts as well. So this seems like it's a fairly one-way traffic in the game against for Spurs. But I'll break off of that, because here come Liverpool now. The ball played into the penalty area. Salah, just as he was about to turn and pull the trigger, the ball is played away from him and cleared back into midfield, where Curtis Jones has mopped up for Liverpool. He plays it back towards Konate. Enclosed down here by Otara and by Igor Thiago, but Van Dijk does have enough time just to roll the ball back towards Alisson. Then looks up and sends a long straight ball down the middle, looking for Cody Gakpo. The header from Van den Berg then drops to Gakpo. I thought he might have been brought down there. Referee stands over it there in England, but says no foul. And it's Vitaly Janot with a long ball over the top, but it's a hopeful ball rather than a direct pass towards Dango Otara and indeed Igor Thiago, who was getting into the penalty area. In the end is easy there for Alisson. And we mentioned the World Cup a few moments ago. Just a quick reminder for you that every single game of the World Cup will be on our service throughout the summer. The caffeine orders have been made for our office as we speak, and as I say, we'll be across every single game, and looking forward to that as well. There's going to be some fascinating games. There's another, there's more than a 50-50 there. I thought it was a 70-30 in favour of Liverpool. I thought there looked like it could have been a foul on Gakpo. Down in England again, allows play to go on. Brentford now pushing forward down the left-hand side here with Jensen. Just checks his run. There was an overlap there from Keane Lewis Potter, but Brentford preferred to just slow things down in midfield, and that was a mistake, because the next pass is picked off here by Mo Salah, and suddenly Liverpool can go on the counter here. Gakpo's waiting for the ball in the middle, tries to get it back to Salah, who was on the run. Just too many Brentford bodies in the way, and the visitors now have it back here in midfield with Matthias Jensen. Tries one over the top here, looking for the run of Kevin Schade. He hits the deck at the edge of the area, but the way the referee's been allowing all kinds of contacts in the last few minutes, I don't think Schade's got a chance of getting a decision there.
No, probably not. I mean, that was a really odd decision from Ibrahim Konate, just to allow the ball to bounce past him and not go with it. I'm not entirely sure what he was going for there, but yeah, nothing given by Darren England, and he's sticking with the theme of letting the game go, which has gone into a bit of a stalemate at the minute, this one. Neither team playing with a huge amount of energy. Just as I say that, Liverpool looked to try and drive forward, Curtis Jones stepping forward.
He did, yeah, he was challenged, but the ball is still kept alive here for Liverpool down the right-hand side. It's Salah now getting towards the edge of the area. 3 waiting in the box if he can get across. His initial effort there is blocked off by Keane Lewis Potter. Jensen is back there covering as well. Now he goes back towards Curtis Jones, just at the edge of the area. He plays it back towards Konate, who is closer to the halfway line than he is to the penalty area, but Liverpool still keep possession. Salah dropping a little bit deeper now, back towards Konate. Gravenberg now playing it towards Van Dijk. Pushing forward Van Dijk, but again Brentford with banks of players just in front of their penalty area. Now Soboslai gets that ball away from Janot and spots Ngamoa on the left-hand side, breaking into the penalty area. Ngamoa just has his run blocked there by Coyote. Back to Robertson, who hits it first time. Good whip ball into the penalty area, but it's also a quick clearance there from Van den Berg. Back into midfield. It's almost like there's a body or two missing for Liverpool in the box.
Yeah, it's the problem you've got when you have to play Cody Gakpo through the middle. He's just not quite... He doesn't quite bounce off of defenders. He's always been a winger who can run in behind, but has liked to get the ball and run at a defender. As a striker, he doesn't really do that. It's never particularly pleasing on the eye watching Cody Gakpo play through the middle. I don't think it's his fault in the slightest. If you probably asked him, I think he'd say, I don't really enjoy playing through the middle, but he's one of those players who will do it for the team if he needs to. And that's exactly what he's doing this afternoon, what he's had to do the last few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. With £200 million worth of strikers injured for Liverpool for most of this season, he has had to fill in that gap with Ekitike and Isak with their injury problems. But of course, that just means there's a lot more to come from that front line for Liverpool at some stage. Hopefully, they'll be happy from the start of next season, of course. As Michael Coyote just getting into a little bit of a tussle there with Ngamoa. The referee has called over 3 Brentford players just to have a quick word with them. We can now see Keith Andrews and one of his assistants, Kevin O'Connor, who's actually been at Brentford since 1998 when he started there as a junior player. I mean, the Ngamoa ends up losing his boot. I'm not so sure that anything other than saying that it's a foul from Coyote, I'm not sure there's much more to it than that.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's just one of those where it happens, players get caught and it's accidental, but it is a free kick, and leave it at that. I think this game, it's the problem that Darren England has got when he's let things go. All of a sudden, worse fouls get made to look worse, and it gets a bit messy, I think.
Well, it does, but now it could get messy for Brentford, because here come Liverpool now with Salah into the 6-yard box. There's a challenge at the edge of the 6-yard box. The referee is looking at his linesman, he's looking at Jones. He's, as it stands, I think he's not made a call yet. He may be asking for a bit of VAR assistance. To me, it looked like it could have been a corner, but we'll have a look here at this replay. Salah threads that ball through to Jones.
He gets a touch on the ball.
I think he does get a touch on the ball there, and it's almost like Jones can see that, and maybe he's trying to sort of vault into... I don't think there's any penalty there.
No, I don't think it is. The only thing I'm going to say is I think it's really, really bad defending from Nathan Collins. He just dangles a leg. It's almost a tentative... Never fills me with confidence, Nathan Collins. There's clearly a player there. He's clearly very talented. You don't captain Brentford and stay in the Premier League for as long as he has done and played for the Republic of Ireland if you're not a talented footballer. But he never fills me with confidence. And on that occasion, he gets lucky that the toe is just enough to poke the ball away.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a few too many mistakes, I think, for Nathan Collins as it stands to be that sort of top Premier League defender. But I say he's probably only 1 or 2 levels below that. He just needs to perhaps get some more consistency. Liverpool will lose the ball in midfield, and Jensen now plays the ball into the penalty area. The cross comes in from Sharda, but it was a tame cross, and it got a big deflection as well, which completely took the sting out of the ball, and it just deflects happily into the arms of Alisson. Brentford perhaps not capitalising on that error there, because they're not getting much attacking possession by themselves. So any gift like that, they've got to try and take advantage. Gravenberch brings the ball forward for Liverpool now. He found Szoboszlai in towards Salah on the right-hand side. Salah breaking into the penalty area, trying to get that ball back to Szoboszlai inside the penalty area, but Brentford, again, with just bodies in the way, are able to get that ball away, but they don't really have an outlet because they have got so many players back. It's just a long clearance from Keane Lewis-Potter. It's too high for Igor Thiago, and Liverpool comes straight back again. Gravenberch's ball into the box this time. Just a little bit too quick there for Salah, and Kelleher rolls it out again. Here is Jordan Henderson. Mentioned him too much today so far, which is always a bad sign if you're a central midfielder and you're not seeing much of the ball. And now his pass has been blocked off. It's a giveaway of possession, and now Liverpool go forward here with Salah at the edge of the area. Plays it square to McAllister. Thought about pulling the trigger, but then it just goes out towards the left-hand side. Robertson does pull the trigger. Takes a big deflection of Michael Coyote. He's out for a corner.
Yeah, I think a lot of Liverpool fans are hoping that Salah gets a goal today. One final parting gift from the Egyptian, who scores so many for Liverpool. But they'd also love a goal from Robertson. If they get one, they'll be very shocked, I think it's fair to say. But yeah, going back to Jordan Henderson, he started off brilliantly. I thought Brentford was really, really useful, and then as the season's gone on, I feel like the effects on his legs have almost sort of hit him a bit. He's had his injury problems, still been called up to the World Cup squad, slightly controversially with the likes of Adam Wharton missing out. But yeah, as you said, barely involved so far in this game. Basically playing up against 3 midfielders he didn't fancy being behind in the pecking order when he departed.
No, but it may well be that psychologically that has just affected him slightly, but we'll see this corner kick for Liverpool now. It's whipped in at pace. Good strong header away there by Vandenberg. Second ball from Yano is given away. Liverpool have it back in now at the edge of the box here with Curtis Jones. It's back to Salah on the right-hand side. He goes square to Gravenberch. He tries to turn. Not enough room for the shot himself. He goes back to Szoboszlai. He was being closed down by Jensen. Ball now played back towards Robertson, who was usually the last man back for Liverpool when they have a set piece. Goals going in elsewhere. It's now Brighton 0, Manchester United 1. Nottingham Forest have taken the lead against Bournemouth as well. So slowly but surely goals are happening in every game so far. There's still quite a few games though that are 0-0, as well as this one, of course, In fact, looking at it, it's Palace, Arsenal, that's still 0-0. Our game is still goalless, as indeed the two big relegation battles in London, where it's still goalless between Spurs and Everton, as indeed there's still goalless between West Ham and Leeds. The ball now back here with Kelleher. 35 minutes on the clock here at Anfield, unofficial independent off-tube studio commentary. We are going to get at least 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, because we did have a drinks break with the temperatures getting a lot warmer over the last couple of days. Liverpool now pushing forward at the edge of the area. That's a good clearance though from Collins. And then as Szoboszlai was trying to keep the ball in play, he actually fell and landed on the ball, so he's ended up giving the throw to Brentford. And a moment of possession for Brentford inside their own half, but they just haven't been able to settle on the ball today at all.
No, they haven't. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think Liverpool have really settled on the ball either. I don't think either side has shown anywhere near enough quality in possession, and that'll frustrate both managers, to be honest. I think both teams know they can be much better on the ball, much more efficient in possession, and neither team have shown that. By the way, goal scorer for Nottingham Forest, Morgan Gibbs-White. How aggrieved will he be that he's not in that World Cup squad? I tell you what, he's certainly, in the last 6 months, put up a huge claim to be involved this summer. But that is a big goal for Liverpool, because it almost effectively renders Bournemouth out of the race for Champions League football.
It does effectively, yeah, no, it really does. And it's going to take quite a bit of a turnaround there, because Forest have looked a lot better under Vitor Pereira in the last couple of months. I mean, getting back to Gibbs-White, I mean, to think that that there would be 2 or 3 number 10s who are better than him at the moment. There aren't, I don't believe, of English heritage anyway. So it does surprise me that, I mean, he's made a few controversial calls, Thomas Tuchel. I think the Harry Maguire one, omitting him. I think most pundits would say that pound for pound in terms of defensive ability, and indeed the potential of whacking a penalty in at the end of a knockout game,
or winning a header from a corner,
you would say Maguire is probably a safer bet than Dan Burn. But Thomas Tuchel, of course, making those calls, and now we now know, of course, that Tuchel is staying past the World Cup as well. So he's obviously got thoughts about what he wants to be doing from the start of the next Euro qualifying campaign. But that's all to come, of course. Back here at Anfield is Liverpool in slow and steady possession inside their own half, as Alisson now plays the ball into Szoboszlai. He plays a quick one up towards Gakpo. Then it's back to Gravenberch, and he spots the run of Salah down the right-hand side. And now it's with Curtis Jones. Jones gets to the edge of there. He stands the ball up. It's taken down at the edge of the box by Gravenberch. At the edge of the D, he goes for goal. It's a great save by Kelleher. I've got to say that Kelleher must have seen what was coming, but none of his outfield teammates did. It seemed to be quite obvious as soon as Gravenberch got the ball what he wanted to do, and he executes a decent strike, but it's also a decent save.
Almost an identical position to that goal he scored in the last game at Anfield against Chelsea. Corner of the D, opens his body up, looking for that far post. Kelleher, though, more aware than Philip Jorgensen was on the day, makes a decent save. Nobody closed Ryan Gravenberch down. It was far too easy for the Dutchman to bring the ball down and strike from distance. He's got an eye for goal now all of a sudden, Ryan Gravenberch. In the last, I'd say, 6 months or so, he's popped up with a few for Liverpool. Not far away on that occasion.
Not far away at all, as here comes the corner from Salah, flapping at it a little bit, Kelleher, but I think he gets enough on it just to deflect it away from the penalty area. It's kept alive on the left-hand side now by Curtis Jones. He backheels a nice ball in towards Gravenberch. Still plenty of red shirts in that box from the corner. It's back with Jones, but the cross, it's too deep. And the header there from Jensen potentially was completely unnecessary, because they're going to just let that go out for a goal kick. Now the ball is back with Igor Thiago, but he's immediately challenged for it. Cross whipped in from the right-hand side, headed away and back into midfield, where Jensen is trying to fight to get Brentford in possession, and he's been bundled off the ball, says the referee. Considering the amount of 50-50s or even 60-40s that Darren England has let go today, I'm quite surprised. I mean, there's a little bit of maybe there's an arm across there from Gravenberch. Maybe that's what's convinced the referee, but there's not too much in there.
No, I think given the fact that some of the others weren't given as fouls, I'm not sure I'd have been given that one. But free kick nonetheless for Brentford. I thought Liverpool worked that really well on the near side. Curtis Jones eventually getting the space to cross the ball in, but it's a dreadful cross. It really is. I think once you turn and you create the space, you've got to settle on the ball and recognise where the plays you're aiming for are. Ultimately, yes, he is a goal scorer, Mo Salah, but you're not aiming towards the back post where the Egyptian's waiting. You've got to swing it in towards where Ibrahima Konate or Virgil van Dijk are waiting. Those are the plays that are going to win the header up against this Brentford side. And at the minute, Liverpool just not putting the ball in the areas they need to.
No, not at all. And Brentford have scampered forward in the meantime. Good work here from Coyote to get the ball into Otara. Brentford were desperate for that ball to go out of play, but it didn't quite go out of play, so Liverpool avoided that. But now a bit of pressing here from Otara almost gets that ball played back into the penalty area before Liverpool do finally clear their lines. There's a real fight for it here in midfield. Coyote doing his best there to try and keep that ball alive for Brentford, but Ngamoa is back. And a combination of him and Robertson then get the ball out towards Gravenberch, and he's back to Andy Robertson now down the left-hand side. Robertson just stops his run. He didn't have many options to go forward, so he goes back to Gravenberch, and the move slows down for Liverpool, but they are in steady possession here now with Van Dijk going across towards Konate. Strides quite a long way forward here, Konate, all the way to the edge of the area. Leaves the ball now for Salah. Jones back towards Konate. As the home side now trying to build a bit more momentum. That's a lovely switch pass out towards the left-hand side. Taken down here by Ngamoa into the penalty area. Drops the shoulder, goes for goal! It's just wide. But the first thing that Kelleher does once he realises it goes wide is he starts remonstrating with his defenders, because the amount of Liverpool players that are cutting in on their right foot and going for goal, I mean, that is inches away from hitting the post.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really poor from Jordan Henderson and Michael Coyote. You know what Ngamoa is going to do every time. I don't want to call him a one-trick pony because he's not, but at the end of the day, it's like Ian Robben. You know what he's going to do. You've got to work out a way to stop it. Coyote's done well so far in this one, where Coyote's got to deal with the underlapping run of Cody Gakpo. That's fine. One of the midfielders come across and do the job. Jordan Henderson's asking for support. You've got to show your experience and engage. At the end of the day, he's a teenager who is still lacking in a lot of experience. Rio Ngamoa put the pressure on, force him to make a decision, and in the end, there's too much space. He goes for goal, and we've seen him fire from that position.
No, we haven't. I mean, you made the point about Ian Robben. Well, in the modern day, I mean, I would say in a complementary way that Michael Elise is almost a one-trick pony, because you know what he's going to do when he's going to ping it in with his left foot from the right-hand side. But because he's so quick and because he's got so much variety with the shots he can do with that left foot, you wouldn't really say it's like he's the best at that particular skill, but everyone knows he's going to do it, and it's still very difficult to stop him. But there, Brentford has shown far too much space to Ngamoa, although they've now found themselves a bit of space here in midfield with Igor Thiago holding the ball up well. Then he finds a pass out towards the left-hand side here for Keane Lewis-Potter. Under pressure there, he goes back towards Yana, who sends an awful ball into the box. It's a bouncing ball that's just about kept alive. Then it's played back into the penalty area. Liverpool eventually heading it clear with Robertson out towards this right-hand side as Brentford look. Coyote wanted to go out for a throw, which is exactly what it's going to do. I mean, I admire Coyote's ambition if he thinks he can launch it into the box from here. He's already stolen about 3 yards from where it was supposed to have been taken. And now I think Darren England, using the technical area just outside Liverpool's bench, is able to get Michael Coyote back in line. Igor Thiago trying to find space. I mean, in the end, he didn't bother with the long throw, which is a shame, because you can obviously use that quirk that you can't be offside. But now the ball goes to Henderson. He puts across in towards the back post. It's headed down, and suddenly it drops to Shardo. What a save that is from Alisson. Shardo, I mean, maybe he needs to hit that one a little bit quicker, but he gets that ball. He's inside the 6-yard box. He's onside, and Alisson gets his body in the way and makes a really big save. Brentford could have been in front there, but now it's Liverpool on the charge. Down the right-hand side here with Soboslai in towards the penalty area. Lifts the ball in. Headed down by Cody Gakpo, and just a really good block there from Coyote. Deflects the ball away for a corner.
Yeah, really stretched for a moment there, this game of football. What an unbelievable save that is, though, from Alisson. We'll see a replay of it now. Liverpool, an absolute mess. I know what you're saying. Could Sharda take the shot quicker? I don't think there's anything you can do there. I just think that is an unbelievable save from Alisson. And then down the other end, Coyote, brilliant positioning to get himself in the way. Really good from the Italian. Huge moment down both ends of the field.
Absolutely, and huge moment at both ends of the table, because it looks like both North London sides have scored. It's 15-20 seconds apart from each other. It's Palace 0, Arsenal 1. It's Tottenham 1, Everton 0. That's a huge goal for Spurs. Here comes the corner kick for Liverpool. It's headed on at the near post. I think it comes off a Liverpool head, does it? No, I think after all of that, it actually does come off a Brentford head, because everyone's now congregating for a corner kick here on the left-hand side. So it's going to be right-footed Dominic Soboslai coming across to take this one. Big goal that for Spurs. And that is going to see them stay up with their East London rivals West Ham. That's bad news for London council taxpayers, because now the London Stadium is now going to have to be subsidised by. So again, we'll gloss over that. That's the discussion for another time. But here comes the corner kick for Liverpool. It's just a short ball here. Ngamoa working towards the edge of the penalty area. Gets a cross in, but the ball is just a little bit too far away from the line of Liverpool players waiting at the edge of the 6-yard box. It's cleared back towards the halfway line, and it's now back with Alisson. Long ball from Alisson, too long in fact, it goes straight through to Kelleher. Manchester United have scored twice in the space of 10 minutes, and now Brighton 0, Manchester United 2. So after what started like a very disappointing season for the Red Devils, it's ending with a bit of a flourish and the promise of a potential new managerial era as well.
Well, at the minute, if Brentford get themselves a goal to go ahead, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, they'll finish 7th. No, that'll see them. That'll see them with Europa League football.
As it stands now, yes. You're actually. I'll just refresh that with the live table. As it stands, Brentford are level on points with Brighton with a worse goal difference.
Sunderland.
And they are still a point. But as I say, Brentford need to win this game, and then everything, all bets are up. But now here come Brentford now with Henderson into the 6-yard box. The ball is just a bit too close, and it's cleared into midfield. It was Konate that got his body in the way. That we're into injury time. I expected it to be 3 minutes. 3 minutes is what we're going to get at the end of this 45. As here comes Dango Ouattara in towards Coyote down the right-hand side. Brentford just growing in confidence slightly in the final third, but it's still very scant possession as Ouattara's ball into the box. It's a theme for Brentford this afternoon that their crosses have been overhit, as indeed that one was. But we're now getting another replay. I mean,
honestly, Paul, he can't do anything.
I don't think he can. We're just to explain, we're seeing yet another replay of that chance for Brentford. I mean, the only thing I would say, I don't think that Sharda can control it any quicker. Maybe he could be varying slightly where he's shooting, because he does seem to be shooting straight down. If he could just have shot across the goalkeeper a little bit more, as I say, it's very easy for me to say that, but it was a glorious chance for Brentford to finally get in behind the goalkeeper as they're pushing forward now. Coyote just shows too much that to Ngamoa, but then it is Sharda pressing at the edge of the area. He gets a lucky deflection before Andy Robertson takes all the pressure out of that Brentford attack by just nodding the ball back towards Alisson. Former Brentford man Brian Mbeumo doubling Manchester United's lead at the Amex. Brighton 0, Manchester United 2.
It's worth mentioning, by the way, that Patrick Dorgu goal to get Man United 1 goal ahead was assisted by Bruno Fernandes. So the assist record in the Premier League has been broken this season by the Portuguese international. 21 assists is some number. Mesut Ozil sat at home somewhere thinking that would have been me 10 years ago had Olivier Giroud not forgotten how to score a goal for 6 months of the season.
No, that's true. But then, I don't know. Taking Ozil's incredible skill aside, I just think Bruno Fernandes is more of a team player really for Manchester United. Maybe in terms of United fans, but they probably do feel a bit more of an affinity with him than Arsenal fans do with Ozil, because there were those long spells where Ozil just seemed to go missing altogether. But no denying his unbelievable playmaking talents. As I say, when you think of all the assists that Kevin De Bruyne had, it's quite interesting that he was never sort of quite at the top of that list, but then of course he was able to get just below those 20 a season, and indeed score plenty of goals as well. We're around 30 seconds away from half-time here at Anfield. It's been an interesting half, not too many chances, but now out of nowhere, a great chance here for Liverpool, a ball over the top. Salah breaking into the penalty area, he's able to hold this up. He wants to go for goal himself, he's brought down, that's a really good challenge, and then Brentford just about get the ball away. Frustration there for Salah. Salah in his pomp does better there. He either scores himself or is able to hold it up and get it to a teammate. But that's a warning for Brentford. They've given Liverpool too much space in the final third. Yano now playing a ball over the top. Taken down here by Igor Thiago. Maybe time for one last cross into the area. The cross does come in. The header goes out. Robertson heads it out. And will there be time for this corner kick? It looks like there will be.
Yeah, there normally is, isn't that? From the officials allowing corners to be taken even at the end. I think Salah does really, really well, and I actually think credit to Keane Lewis Potter because it's a great challenge from behind. Szoboszlai was furious he wasn't given the ball there by Mo Salah. I don't think the run is great. I really don't. He almost sort of runs at an angle where the pass can't be made. It is a tricky one, and also as well, I think in any game in this scenario, Salah's always trying to take the shot because it's just the player he is.
It's absolutely. He would love to get one more goal before his time at Liverpool is up. Brentford take the corner kick short. They've got to get it in quickly. Now they do whip it in. It's a flat, low cross, very easy to deal with. Cleared back towards the half, and that is it for this first half at Anfield, where it's goalless between Liverpool and Brentford. Myself and Luca back for you in 15 minutes.
Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford have had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves. Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves, Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. Half-time at Anfield, it's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0, but a fantastic first half of football on Merseyside this afternoon. Liverpool have come the closest, not once but twice, to taking the lead. It was Mohamed Salah hitting the post first, his free kick striking the woodwork, almost beating Kelleher, and Gravenberch forcing a good save out of his former teammate. Brentford though had a fantastic chance themselves, Kevin Schade forcing a world-class save out of Alisson to keep it at 0-0. Both sides will be frustrated, but a good first half nonetheless. It's Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. And it's a very warm welcome back to this independent off-tube studio-based commentary of this Premier League fixture at Anfield on the final day between Liverpool and Brentford. The two sides went in at half-time, level at 0-0, with both teams coming close, but no dice for either forward line. And ultimately still all to do for both teams in the second half. No changes on the pitch for these two sides, no changes in commentary either. So myself, Luke Ashurst, alongside me, Paul Shavakovic, take you through all of the action. I'll bring Paul in a second because Liverpool coming forward now with a bit of pace. Salah down the near side, Gakpo plays it back to McAllister, who goes for goal. Blocked well in the end by Nathan Collins. Further cleared away by Jordan Henderson towards halfway. But Paul, as I just said, both teams coming close, but I don't think either side really caused an extended sort of spell of pressure to put the other team in a bit of trouble.
No, not at all. Look, I mean, Liverpool, just as the home side and with more possession, they certainly put more pressure on Brentford. There were only 2 or 3 times when Kelleher was really put under pressure, and there was an occasion when they struck the woodwork as well. At the other end, only really one big save for Alisson to make, and a couple of half chances for Brentford. So we'll see how the second half develops. But Liverpool are really trying to get forward.
Yeah, Liverpool trying to start the second half quickly. I think at times it's fair to say they were rather slow in that first 45, although there were a couple of moments where the likes of Salah and N'Gamo really burst into life. I'll run you through the lineups in a moment or so. As I said, no changes made by either manager. Liverpool though on the edge of the box now, have it with Gakpo. Salah looking for the ball in behind towards Gakpo, but it's going to roll out of play for a goal kick. So the lineups in full are as follows. For Liverpool, Alisson in goal. Back four of Robertson, Van Dijk, Canate and Jones. Midfield 2 of McAllister and Gravenberch, with N'Gamo as Szoboszlai and Salah supporting Cody. Gakpo through the middle. As for Brentford, it's Kelleher in goal. Back four of Coyote, Vandenberg, Collins and Lewis Potter. Midfield 2 of Henderson and Janelt, with Ouattara, Jensen and Schade supporting Igor Thiago up top. You know, for Liverpool, as we've just said, it's probably an extended spell of pressure, a little bit more pace on the ball, a little bit more quality for Brentford. I look at the team that I've just read out there, and I could probably say there are 4 players who I think have collectively said their names 4 times, and that being Janelt, Henderson, Jensen and Ouattara. We just haven't seen enough of them.
No, we haven't, not at all. And it's always a worry when a central midfielder can't get into the game. The fact that Ouattara hasn't seen much of the ball, well, obviously he would want to get into the game a bit more, but certainly from a Janelt and Henderson's perspective, they've got to try and get into the game.
Big news for Liverpool in terms of results around the ground, as Aston Villa have equalised away from home against Manchester City in Pep Guardiola's final game in charge of the Citizens. Ollie Watkins with the goal in that one, in the last game for him before the World Cup. I'll break off because here come Liverpool now driving forward. Gakpo with the effort inside the penalty area. Blocked well by Nathan Collins, out of play for the first corner of the second half. Going the way of Liverpool, as did the first corner of the game, it has to be said. Mo Salah though taking this one on the near side. So again, it'll be another left-footed in-swinger from the Liverpool right. Interestingly enough, Salah's come out wearing short sleeves from after half-time. We did notice that he was wearing long sleeves in the first half, and I mentioned that nowhere will feel hot, given that he's from Egypt. But no, he's come out in short sleeves for this second half, and an opportunity now for the ball to be swung in. It's actually going to be an outswinger from Dominic Szoboszlai with his right boot, floated towards the back post. Van Dijk got up. Brentford though will get clear. Gravenberch will gather 40 yards away from goal. Goals have flown in around the ground, by the way, in quick succession, as Arsenal taking a 2-goal lead away from home, a 2-0 lead I should say, away from home against Crystal Palace. A break off as Ngamoa steps forward. His cross into the box is blocked. Another corner, this time over on the far side for Liverpool. As Manchester United have scored a third away from home against Brighton. They're now 3-0 up. And Sunderland are now 2-0 up against Chelsea and look set for a Europa League spot next season.
Yeah, as it stands, Sunderland are in those Europa League spots. They were very much in those Europa League spots for most of this season, just falling away in the last couple of months. Almost, they've picked up form just as Brentford have been losing theirs, and now a great chance for Sunderland to finish in those European places. There is a VAR check on for that third Manchester United goal, but here comes the corner kick for Liverpool.
Yeah, corner to be swung in by the Reds over on the far side. You'd assume it's Dominic Szoboszlai to take, but he's taking it short either way. Left-footed ball's coming from Robertson. Corner of the penalty area. Van Dijk with the header, couldn't get the purchase on it. Liverpool wants another corner. It's been given a goal kick in the end, and Liverpool will have to get back into position. That third goal for Manchester United has stood, by the way. Bruno Fernandes getting a goal to go along with his record-breaking assist for Patrick Dorgu's early goal, and Burmo strikes sandwiched between the two. As for Sunderland, it was Trey Hume who got the opener, the second, an own goal from Malo Gusto. Mentioned the equaliser for Manchester City, the goal scorer for Arsenal to go along with Gabriel Jesus' opener, scored by Noni Madueke, who will be going to the World Cup with England, revealed on Friday. I think Mo was going to drive down the left-hand side for Liverpool. In the end, the loose touch allows Coyote to get in between man and ball, and the ball will just drift out of play for a goal kick. Positive start for Liverpool again, though, not showing the quality in the final third they need.
No, they're certainly getting the numbers into that final third. Just need that one final killer pass to really split that Brentford defence open. But you get the feeling that if Liverpool want to keep that ball in the final third, Brentford haven't got too much to stop them. Here comes Liverpool again.
So been taken quickly. Salah, near side of the penalty area, cuts it in his left boot, lays it off McAllister. Thought about the shot first time. Instead, we'll play further left for Ngamoa. Ngamoa back to McAllister, still edge of the penalty area. Here's Salah now inside the penalty area. Left-footed strike. It looked like it was tame, but it kept drifting towards the bottom corner. Kelleher makes a save in the end. It almost feels like Liverpool were just permanently looking for Salah inside the penalty area there.
Yeah, like a testimonial where the guy who's having the testimonial has to score a goal. But with Salah there, I mean, it seemed like Kelleher had sort of misjudged it for a split second. It was like it was squirming away from him, but in the end he makes a decent save. And he comes Brentford now with Keane Lewis Potter.
Yeah, lovely run from Lewis Potter down the left-hand side. He's been very involved so far this afternoon. He tries to play the ball inside, looking for an underlapping run of somebody in a light blue shirt. Igor Thiago found himself the furthest wide of the front three. In the end, though, a bit of miscommunication, and Liverpool have the ball back once more. Here's Ngamoa far side into Andy Robertson, who's took narrow after the underlapping run. Now here's Virgil van Dijk onto the near side for Curtis Jones. Jones forward down the line for Mo Salah. Salah doubled up as he drifts into the penalty area, but still keeps hold of the ball. Salah stepping towards a shooting opportunity for Talian out there to put in the challenge and see the ball played off of Liverpool's Egyptian king and out of play for a goal kick. He looks more up for it this afternoon, Mohamed Salah. And it sounds bad saying this, but he looks more up for it, the Egyptian, than he has done in probably the last 2 months.
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be the case. As I say, his salary's always been the same. He should always be putting the same effort in for his side. But, of course, psychologically, you know that he has had a quite tough situation the last couple of months, not getting as much game time. Bit of a fallout with the manager as well. But he would love nothing more than to score a big goal for Liverpool this afternoon. Yeah,
it certainly would. Liverpool, though, have lost the ball in midfield, and here comes Dango Ouattara. The first time we've really seen him drive towards the back for his one-on-one with Virgil van Dijk. Steps in to beat McAllister. Ouattara, left-footed effort. Always drifting wide of the post. Did really well to cut in on his left boot, the former Bournemouth man. And that effort towards goal was a decent one. But again, always drifting away from the post and out of play for a goal kick.
He sort of scooped that ball out from the ground, and he needed it to have a little bit more swerve really to actually hit the inside of that post. Always just angling away from goal. But yeah, promising from Dango Ouattara. It's the first time we've really seen him try and do that from the right-hand side.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his, Dango Ouattara. I was really shocked when Bournemouth let him go in the summer, but they've had a plethora of wingers for probably 3 years now. I mean, I was also a big fan of Hamid Traore, who I think many people will have forgotten about now, but when they first returned back to the Premier League and they spent a bit of money, bringing in decent forward players. That man Richard Hughes is just on our screen, involved in bringing him in. He was let go, and I thought that was a big mistake, along with Dango Ouattara being soft. Philip Billing, another that was let go, but they've done brilliantly well. And I actually think the sides that have brought those players in have benefited massively from Bournemouth having that excess in attackers, Brentford being one of them with Dango Ouattara.
No, absolutely, and it just goes to show that Bournemouth obviously had confidence that they could replace Dango Ouattara. The money that they were being offered was just too good for them to turn down.
Yeah, an awful lot of money. Club record signing, I'm pretty sure, Dango Ouattara, £42 million, if I'm not mistaken. I'll break off because there's a decent move here for the Bees. They look to come forward. Just as I say that, Vitaly Janelt gives the ball away, and then Matthias Jensen shows a good bit of recovery pace. In fact, Jordan Henderson, it was, showing a good bit of recovery pace to get back and put the challenge in. Bournemouth have equalised away from home in the City ground. Marcus Tavernier with the goal in that one. One of the number of wingers that Bournemouth have still kept a hold of.
Yeah.
So it's 1-1 in the Midlands in that one, and Burnley have equalised quickly after half-time. They had a longer first half than most games did at Turf Moor, and Zian Fleming, with his 11th goal of the season, has equalised after Adam Armstrong's early penalty in that game. Chelsea look as though they pulled one back away from home against Sunderland. Indeed they have. Bring confirmation of the goal scorer in a second, but it's 2-1 at the Stadium of Light, and it's Cole Palmer looking to prove Thomas Tuchel wrong after he was omitted from England's World Cup squad. So it's Sunderland 2, Chelsea 1, Palmer with the goal in that one. In our game, just over 55 minutes gone at Anfield, independent of Tube studio-based commentary. It is Liverpool 0, Brentford 0. One of only 2 games now that is yet to see a goal, the other of which being West Ham versus Leeds. That game can see as many goals as it wants. As things stand, it won't matter because Tottenham are beating Everton. A reminder that if West Ham are to stay up, they have to win their game and hope that Everton can get at least another 2 without response, and Tottenham lose at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London. As for our game in terms of the implications, Brentford need to find a goal from somewhere to finish within the European places and mark off a historic season for them. As for Liverpool, they've got to avoid losing by 3 goals and hope that Bournemouth win by 3 goals. Hope that Bournemouth don't win by 3 goals, I should say, and they will finish within the top 5. There's a chance they can finish 4th. If City can get a second in theirs and beat Aston Villa, and Liverpool find themselves a winner in this one. But so far it hasn't looked overly likely. Liverpool could find a winner. Maybe it comes now, cross into the box and punched away by Queven Kelleher. He's left Gakpo stricken, but play will continue with as Liverpool win the ball back high up. Here's Mo Salah, again doubled up on the corner of the penalty area. Tries to play the ball inside, looking towards Soboslai. Brentford intercept well through Vitaly Janelt, who skipped away from a couple. And then eventually the ball will be launched long, looking towards Igor Thiago and Dango Ouattara. Van Dijk though wins the header. Only his father was Sepp Vandenberg, who will try and bring the ball forward for the Bees. Now lays it off to Matthias Jensen. It looks as though there's a man ready to come on the near side. It is Aaron Hickey who's ready to come on. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul. I think he made the World Cup squad for Scotland.
Did, yeah, absolutely.
Which is a delight to see. I'm a huge fan of Aaron Hickey. You know what? I'm a huge fan of a number of these Brentford players. I realise every time I cover them, I find myself saying I like a lot of them. But Aaron Hickey, I am indeed a huge fan of, and he has had a torrid time with injuries recently, but I'm sure with a bit of luck he will be back to his absolute best and will represent Scotland fantastically this summer.
Oh, he will. I mean, as long as he's 75% fit, I think Steve Clarke was always going to try and take him for the World Cup. Break off now because here come Brentford with the ball into the box, just deflects away from Igor Thiago.
Yeah, great defending from Virgil van Dijk, and Curtis Jones there is there to mop up. Really good from Liverpool, and now a chance for the counter-attack as Salah has been played through on the near side, forced wide by the pass, but a bit of space for him to drive into the penalty area. Salah, ball across, and there's the opening goal! Mo Salah, the architect, but finished by Curtis Jones from close range. Brilliant from Liverpool. Jones was the one who started the move, and he finishes it as well. Liverpool 1, Brentford 0.
Yeah, it's a little bit too easy for Liverpool, really. Great run from Salah down the right-hand side, but once he gets that ball in, it's the simplest of tasks, really, for Curtis Jones, and he's not going to miss from there.
No, he certainly isn't. We mentioned in the first half, didn't we, there will be a VAR check. Salah is touch and goes to whether he's onside from the initial ball. We did mention in the first half that Brentford need to win this game, so they will eventually commit bodies forward, but they just committed too many bodies forward on that occasion. One long ball forward set Salah free and shows all the quality that he's possessed throughout his time at Liverpool. Not getting the goal he would have liked just yet, but that is a world-class delivery with the outside of his left boot, and Curtis Jones was not going to miss from there. Delight for Liverpool. VAR will of course have a look to make sure that Salah was onside, but a fantastic way for Curtis Jones to get his first goal of the Premier League season. And absolute delight for the home side. Not much of a celebration from Curtis Jones, but it surprised me. I know it was a close range goal and he's not going to want to reel off with a knee slide or a handstand or anything, but I really did think we'd see a little bit more.
Yeah, I did
Curtis
as well.
Jones.
Yeah, I think that maybe, as to say, it is perhaps a sign that he knows he might be off in the summer. Perhaps he's just a little bit muted. Meanwhile, former Liverpool man Jordan Henderson is going off to be replaced by Aaron Hickey.
Yeah, nice to see the Anfield crowd give a round of applause to one of the most decorated captains in history. And there's a number of Liverpool fans who, when he left, were not overly happy with the way he went about it. I don't think it was brilliant from Jordan Henderson, but I think things he's come out and said since have made things slightly better, and it is nice to see he's had this round of applause on his return back to Anfield, and good to see Aaron Hickey on the field as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, Henderson, the way he left Liverpool isn't ideal, but then that shouldn't overshadow just how many good years he had at Anfield. The fact that Liverpool were winning trophies again, he was at the club at the time when that started happening. So big if I may say, we've only seen the one replay. The game has restarted, by the way, so the goal does stand. Obviously does suggest that VAR would have checked it, but we haven't seen a replay as yet.
Yeah, it will have been tight, I'm sure, for that Mohamed Salah offside, but he did look fractionally onside, particularly in real time as well. But as I said, delight for Curtis Jones, his first league goal of the season. He'll be very, very happy with that, and he'll be very happy that it's been assisted by Mo Salah as well on his final game for Liverpool. And he has scored previously in this season. Curtis Jones got 2 in the 4 games he played in the FA Cup, but none in the Premier League, or no goals outside of any other competition but the FA Cup. So absolute delight for him that he's managed to get that, and I know he's very, very good friends with Mo Salah, so he'll be very, very happy that he's gotten on the end of what was a superb cross from Mo Salah. It looks as though Aston Villa may be about to spoil the party for Pep Guardiola, because they think they've potentially gone 2-1 up.
We were getting word of that. It's just suddenly gone quiet with that game now, but we'll confirm that. But I mean, as I say, Unai Emery, I mean, he's had a fantastic season with Aston Villa, getting Champions League twice, you could argue, in one season with Villa's league position, and of course winning the Europa League as well.
Well, he said in his first season that it was his dream to win a trophy with Aston Villa, and that's exactly what he's done. He's proven once again he is one of the great managers in the world at the moment.
And I don't care what he says, he is Mr. Europa League. He might dislike that kind of tag, but he is an absolute... seeing that replay, now we have finally seen a replay of that goal. What was interesting is the angle from above suggested that Salah was actually a little bit offside. The side-on angle, absolutely no problem at all. You could see that he was level, so there was no issue with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Villa had the ball in the back of the net. It was ruled out on field. VAR are now double-checking it, as Chelsea have had a man sent off in their game. So they are 2-1 down against Sunderland, and it gets worse because Wesley Fofana's now been sent off for 2 yellow cards. I'll break off because here come forward Liverpool down the right-hand side once again. Salah once more heavily involved, trying to work the space, surrounded by players in light blue. Eventually, corner one. He's trying everything, Mo Salah, and Brentford are doing everything to stop him.
They are, yeah. I mean, they were desperate for Darren England to go in their favour there and say it was just a goal kick, but you can see that it did come off Vandenberg last, so it is a corner. Meanwhile, VAR have completed their checks at the Etihad, and Villa are spoiling the party. It's now City 1 and Villa 2. Yeah.
Delight for Aston Villa, that will guarantee them 4th place, and Ollie Watkins gets his 2nd of the game.
Are you watching? I should say, I mean, it's a big goal that for Watkins as well, getting into that England squad as Harry Kane's 2nd in command. And it's interesting enough that Ivan Toney in the squad as well.
Yeah, absolutely, of course, former Brentford player. That corner, by the way, swung in by Liverpool, brilliantly claimed by Queeving Kelleher. We've mentioned he's a little bit iffy from crosses into the box, but he did brilliantly well on that occasion, and he's also started an attack here as Brentford move down the far side. Just trying to work out where Aaron Hickey slotted into and who's gone into midfield. I think Keane Lewis Potter will have gone to left midfield. Maybe Jensen drops back a little bit.
Hickey has played in central midfield before for Brentford this season. They have tried that as a variation, and here he goes now.
Yeah, he is, in fact, popping up in central midfield as he moves it over onto the far side for Coyote. Coyote, right-footed ball in towards the back post, flicked away by Curtis Jones, who's quickly out to put pressure on Keane Lewis Potter. Then a header towards goal and in! An equaliser for Brentford. Kevin Sharder with it. He's come the closest for the Bees this afternoon, and he has indeed found the equaliser. The away end leaps up in celebration. It's poor from Liverpool. They were dragged from pillar to post as Brentford moved it from left to right quickly. And in the end, it's Kevin Sharder who finishes the move off. It's a great header from the German.
It's a great header from the German because the cross really wasn't aimed at him at all. There was a big deflection after that cross from Keane Lewis-Potter. Comes off the back of Curtis Jones, but Sharder is the quickest to react. Diving header past Alisson, right in front of those travelling fans from West London. They'll be absolutely delighted. And game on here at Anfield now.
I think the takeaway from that is Curtis Jones certainly isn't a natural right back, is he? Because he took too narrow as that initial cross is swung in. And you can see he was doing everything he could to get out to kick Keane Lewis-Potter as quickly as possible. But when your starting position is that poor, you're always going to struggle. I think Keane Lewis-Potter is shooting, to be honest, and his strike is blocked by Curtis Jones. But Sharder, as any good forward should be, aware inside the penalty area and there to take advantage of the deflection and nod in from close range. Absolute delight for the German forward. It's his 8th league goal of the season. I'm sure he would have liked more than that, but he's been in and out of the side throughout the campaign, Kevin Sharder. But delight on the final day of the season to get the goal that he probably should have had in the first half.
It's a difficult one because he has the pace to be a winger, but he hasn't got the distribution to be a winger. And he likes to be up front, but then he hasn't really got the qualities of a number 9. As here come Brentford with the Coyote down the right-hand side across into the area is cleared. There's a claim for a push at the edge of the Liverpool penalty. The referee says no, and now the home side on the counter.
Yeah, Salah near side again, doubled up. Will quickly play it into Soberslite. Soberslite turns around the corner, back out to Salah on the near side. And this is where I think Liverpool fans get a bit frustrated because Liverpool were on the counter-attack there. Dominic Soberslite very much slowed that down with that ball out to Mo Salah, and now Brentford have got bodies back. Here's Rio Ngamoa out on the far side. Back now to Andy Robertson. Here's Van Dijk. Robertson once more. Ball down the line for Ngamoa. Again, Liverpool forced to be patient with Brentford getting bodies back. Gravenberg's now corner of the penalty area. Far side for Rio Ngamoa, cuts in on his right boot, floats the ball towards the penalty area, wrong decision. He had two centre midfielders inverted to his right hand side, and then he tries to chip the ball towards Cody Gakpo, and he's just pushed from behind, and the ball skips out of play for a goal kick. Reminder of what this does for the table, by the way. So Arsenal champions on 85, City second on 78 points, Manchester United third 71, Villa on 65 points in fourth, Liverpool fifth on 60, Bournemouth sixth on 57. It doesn't really do a huge amount for Brentford with a point. They still remain 9th, Sunderland 7th, Brighton 8th. I mean, unfortunately the way it's gone for Brentford, because Sunderland have beaten Chelsea, which they needed them to do, Sunderland are leapfrogging them.
They are. I mean, look, the fact is that Brentford have left it a little bit too late this season. When you think that at the start of play they were 9th, is the lowest position they've had pretty much in the calendar year. And that is disappointing that they've chosen that sort of end of the season time to have a drop-off in form. But when they went 1-0 down earlier in this half, you probably felt that might be it for Brentford. They're back in the game, so they've got to believe they've still got a chance.
Yeah, they certainly do. As Liverpool will again look to try and come forward down the near side, but again they're forced to slow it down. Here's Curtis Jones now with Canate. Back to Jones, just inside Brentford territory. Jones now down the right-hand side for Dominic Soberslite. Into Ryan Gravenberg, and now Ibrahima Canate. Canate now over onto the far side for Van Dijk, further wide for Robertson. Robertson chip ball in behind, looking towards Ngamoa. It's over here to now to play for a goal kick, and this is, I think, the time we start looking towards the bench of both teams. Of course, Keith Andrews already drawn one card from his deck on the bench, so he can stop the game on another 2 occasions and make 4 more changes. For Liverpool, their options are Marmudashvili is the backup goalkeeper, then Gomez, Kirkes, Frimpong, Endo, Vert, Nioni, Isak and Chiesa. It's a much stronger bench than what we've seen from the Reds in the last few weeks or so. For Brentford, obviously Hickey's already come on. You've got Valdemarsson, the backup goalkeeper, then Pinnock, Ayer, De Silva, Nelson, Damsgaard, Donovan and Furo. They've got more senior options and probably more quality defensively at Brentford, so they're probably thinking if we can try and get ourselves ahead, then we can look towards the bench for changes. Whereas Liverpool, you say they've got the options to bring on to go for it, and Wirtz has been stripped off, ready to come on for quite some time now.
Would that be for Salah, to give Salah a sort of send-off, I think, at the end of the game? I mean, now we're getting a replay of the Liverpool onside goal. There's actually not too much in it, but from that angle we can see that there was a good chunk of the defender. It was actually Collins that was playing Salah onside. Meanwhile, the plot thickens in the relegation battle. West Ham have taken the lead against Leeds. It doesn't change where they are in the league, they'll still be in the bottom three, but it does give that little bit of hope that Everton might still be able to do them some kind of favour.
Yeah, potentially if that news breaks around the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, maybe Spurs get a little bit nervy and panic just that little bit. We'll have to wait and see. Tati Castellanos is with it. Why he was dropped for that game against Newcastle, I will never know. He was in fantastic form. We did the game, didn't we? Brentford, West Ham, where I think that was probably the game that sealed it for West Ham because they capitulated afterwards.
Did, yeah.
But Castellanos was fantastic.
He stood out in that game.
Twice.
I mean, he scored a fabulous goal against Newcastle coming off the bench as well. So it does beg the question. I mean, it's a strange one. I do wonder what the issues are because West Ham have not really had a new manager bounce for 3 managers now, have they? But they got rid of Moyes, they brought in Lopetegui, that didn't work out. They brought in Potter, that didn't really work out. And actually, although they've had some good moments with Nuno Espirito Santo, overall, his tenure at West Ham hasn't been particularly successful either.
No, I've spoken to a few West Hams recently, and their problem has been with his in-game changes. Now, that has been a problem, but his decision to play the system he did against Newcastle was... It just baffled me. It really did, and I think it was the Brentford game that really set the outcome in motion. But the Newcastle game, at the minute at least, who knows? Maybe it changes. That felt like it was the final nail in the coffin.
And going back about 4 or 5 weeks before that, losing at home to Nottingham Forest when they were above Forest in the league at that time as well. That was a game with that controversial VAR and that penalty late on as well. That potentially might have just sort of started the rot for West Ham towards the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. The drinks break has just finished, by the way. That's why me and Paul were not necessarily discussing what was going on the field. But because that drinks break is over, we are into the final quarter of this one. Fascinating game of football. Independent Tube Studio-based commentary. Liverpool 1, Brentford 1. Paul's going to take us through to full time.
Thank you very much, Luke. Yes, so it's 71 minutes, but more. We've still got about 4 or 5 minutes to be added on at the end of this game. And just a couple of sides across all the games this afternoon now without a goal. Brighton still goalless, losing at home to Manchester United. Palace 2-0 down at home to Arsenal. Newcastle a goal down away to Fulham. And Leeds a goal down away to West Ham. Everybody else has scored, and Brentford now pushing forward down the left-hand side in with Igor Thiago putting in an early ball. Ibrahim Konate gets his body in the way, and Brentford getting themselves a rare corner.
Yeah, good play from Igor Thiago. I'm really looking forward to seeing him at the World Cup, I'll be honest. I'm really, really excited for the World Cup in general, but I think he's going to cause so many defenders a lot of problems. Only the second corner of the game for Brentford as Florian Wirtz is still waiting to come on the side of the pitch.
Yeah, but he's been waiting a good while now, and tradition says you don't make changes as a defending team before a corner, so you'd imagine that Wirtz won't be coming on for the next few moments as Matthias Jensen puts this ball down for Brentford on the left-hand side. It's going to be an in-swinger from the Danish international. Pushing and shoving inside that 6-yard box. Schade jostling for position. Alisson trying to get himself some room as well. Here comes the ball in from Jensen. It's towards the back post, headed over the bar in the end by Seth Vandenberg.
Yeah, that went very, very high. As that ball popped up, you could just see Alisson looking into the summer sky, waiting for it to pop down at some point. Eventually, it came down. Not a great header. It's going to be Rio Ingamo to come off. Not a surprise that. Yeah, at his age, you do have to bring him off, and you know what? He's had his moments today. Obviously, cutting in on his right foot has caused problems, but I think Brentford overall have dealt with him pretty well. And Florian Wirtz comes on to replace him. Missed the last few games through illness. I think it's a stomach bug he's had, and off he goes. And this is really an emotional moment. Mohamed Salah being brought off as well. The entirety of Anfield gets to his feet to give him a standing ovation, and rightly so. I mean, easily in the top 5 greatest players to wear that shirt, and I don't think anybody says that lightly when they say it, because of the players, the stature of the football club, but the impact that man has had on Liverpool Football Club, and you can see the tears most clearly the impact the football club has had on him. I mean, what a special footballer. The Premier League is losing a true great in Mohamed Salah this afternoon. He's getting hugs from all of his teammates as he departs the field. This really is quite a significant moment for Liverpool, because it's the end of a great player, and I think a lot of people have really tried to ring home that how important of a player he is in Liverpool's history, but I think sometimes you don't realise how important players have been until they go. And I think Liverpool will probably realise that next season. Similarly, when Gerrard left, it felt the time out of, you know, Gerrard could probably come to the end of it, but then you realise, oh, Steven Gerrard is not going to wear a Liverpool shirt ever again. But Liverpool fans will realise Mo Salah's not going to wear a Liverpool shirt ever again. He's replaced by Jeremy Frimpong, by the way. What a player, Mohamed Salah. What a superb player.
It's very, very true the words you just said there about Salah. Interesting that as he was going off the field, it seemed like the sort of the quickest and coolest of hugs or embraces was with Arne Slot himself. Everyone else on that bench, even the fourth official gave him a bit of a hug as he was coming off the field, but Arne Slot, it was a little bit more official. But then we know that the two of them perhaps aren't on the best of personal terms, but that's always going to happen at big clubs. You're always going to have big personalities clashing. Salah felt as though Liverpool could be doing a little bit more tactically, but then Slot could turn around and say that perhaps at times Salah could have done a little bit more this season as well. So it's one of those situations, but in that moment, all you want to think about is just how a huge a player he has been for Liverpool. And it's nice that he got to the very touching send-off that he did there. But there's still a game to be played here, by the way. We've still got 16 minutes plus injury time to go. And there's still something riding on it for both sides. Liverpool in possession at the edge of their own penalty area. Robertson's ball up to the halfway line. It was left, but it's now back into Brentford possession here with Matthias Jensen. He looks up, hasn't got too many options through them, but also goes out towards Otara on the right-hand side, working towards the penalty area. Otara puts the ball into the 6-yard box. Sharda is there, but he can't get towards it. Janelt then turns. Why isn't he going for goal? He finally gets a chance to pick the ball up again. It goes back towards Otara, and in the meantime, the referee has stopped play for an injury. I think he's saying it's a head injury, which Brentford aren't too happy about. But if there is a head injury, the referee's always going to have to stop it.
Yeah, Canate went down straight away, and it's a tricky one because I always get really frustrated with referees when they don't stop the game for a head injury and they wait for an attack to end. Like, you have to stop it straight away. The difficulty was at any moment that Brentford could have pulled the trigger, and it is a tricky one because it is a case of you don't know whether Canate definitely has a head injury or not. But in the end, I think Darren England does do the right thing. Yes, Brentford was still on the attack, but you do have to stop it. And I thought it was relatively obvious that Canate had his head struck. And he's just receiving a bit of treatment now.
He is, yes. So if he needs to go off, that of course wouldn't count as one of the three substitutions that Liverpool still have left available to them in this game. But let's hope there's nothing too serious here for Canate. Gives us a chance to have a quick glance across. No changes in any of the other score lines. So as it stands, Tottenham will survive on the final day, and West Ham will be going down. And just a reminder, if you missed it earlier today in League One, in the end it was a comfortable victory in the Greater Manchester and Inner Manchester derby there between Bolton and Stockport. Bolton winning that game by 4-1 in the end. Stockport finishing the match with 10 men. Just a reminder that the final game of the English calendar for 25-26 wraps up tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the League 2 playoff final as Salford City take on Notts County. It's just a small matter of the Champions League final next Saturday. Before that, of course, we have the Europa Conference League final on Wednesday. Both those games will be available on our service before a smattering of summertime pre-World Cup friendlies before everything gets underway proper in mid-June. It's the 11th of June, isn't it, when the World Cup actually kicks off. So all that is still to come this summer on our service. Canate has had to jog off the field, but it looks like he's going to be okay to play on. There's going to be a drop ball for Liverpool inside their own penalty. We're going to get a lot of added time at the end of this half. I'm thinking probably 6 or 7 minutes as it stands. But Darren England now leaving the ball with Alisson. Keith Andrews looking a little bit tentative there. He'll be frustrated, of course, if his side do end up finishing 9th. He'll feel as though it's probably a couple of places below where they would have liked to have been. But then, at the same time, always got to look at glass half full for Brentford. If you'd have said to them at the start of the season, particularly after that awful defeat on day one away to Nottingham Forest where Brentford barely had a kick, if you'd have said to the Brentford fans then that you're going to finish 9th with about 15 points grace to the relegation zone, I think every Brentford fan would have taken it. So it's always worth remembering that as Igor Thiago has been trodden on there by Ryan Gravenberch. There will be a free kick to Brentford on the halfway line. Liverpool have set up their offside just ahead of the D, so they are trying to make it a little bit more difficult for Brentford to send this ball into the penalty area. But it is going to be Jensen to try and launch this long. Henderson was just trying to get some advice, I think, to the free kick taker there as well. It is floated towards the edge. They're headed on here by Dango Otara. The loose ball then is cleared up towards the halfway line. Coyote is back there for Brentford. out towards the left-hand side. Jensen's ball in towards Igor Thiago, back towards Matthias Jensen. Was he blocked there at the edge of the area? Yes, he was. Konate committing a foul in a dangerous position, and a good chance now for Brentford.
Yeah, really good opportunity. Yellow card's going to be brandished here for Ibrahim Konate, which feels harsh. We'll see from the replay, see if there's anything too untoward.
I mean, he's trying to block. He's not trying to play the ball at all for me.
Yeah.
It's just a body check there from Konate. He's trying to style it out like it's one of those shoulder-to-shoulders, but actually it's a bit more of a battering ram there from him, I would say.
Yeah, an odd challenge from Ibrahim Konate, who, by the way, still has not signed the new contract. As things stand, this is his last game for Liverpool. So, which, you know, it'll be interesting to see his reaction.
Yeah, I mean,
because, look, he did an interview 2 weeks ago, said, yep, basically all done, basically all sorted. The news is the same sentiment is not echoed around the football club, and that actually there is still a bit of work for them to do to come with to really sort out an agreement.
It is quite rare in this day and age to have a regular Premier League starter, an international as well, who is
his future is so up in the air.
Yeah, it's unusual. It's very unusual.
It's not like last season where Salah and Van Dijk, they said they were staying. Trent Alexander-Arnold said he was leaving. Konate, we have no idea. It's really, really odd.
Well, Brentford are ready with this free kick now. Jensen whips it in at pace, and in the end, he whips it in too high. It's over the bar. It's not. It wasn't an angle for a shot really from Matthias Jensen, and the ball is over the bar and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, disappointing there. Do you know what? I really thought with Brentford this season, given that their manager is a former set-piece coach, that they'd be maybe even a little bit better from set pieces, but they're not one of the best from deliveries into the box, are they?
But they are one of the best in terms of goals conceded from set pieces. They've certainly improved that, because that was one of the big holes that they had with Thomas Frank as manager. But now they've won the ball in midfield, and Jensen driving forward, gets it into Igor Thiago, gets the ball stuck in his feet, he plays it across the 6-yard box, always just away from the two Brentford players, and it still stays in play. Allison was charging to keep that in. It's actually stayed in play. Brentford still have a chance here now on the right-hand side. Liverpool have just switched off in front of their own goal, but now that's a poor pass from Jensen. It's a couple of times that he's wasted the ball there. Robertson just drops his shoulder and is able to get that ball away for Liverpool. Plays it square now in towards McAllister before it's eventually cleared and out for a throw to Liverpool, where they've just about dodged a bullet there as West Ham double their lead against Leeds. They're doing what they can at the London Stadium. Fulham have doubled their lead against Newcastle. They're now 2-0 up at Craven Cottage. But back here at Anfield, Liverpool on the attack now here with Frimpong down the right-hand side. He got the ball at the edge of the area, gets it back, and it's strike towards goal. Curtis Jones into the penalty area. But the strike from Wirtz is dragged wide.
Yeah, not great from Florian Wirtz. I thought, could Frimpong play the ball into Jones a little bit earlier, but the space was always there for the full-back. So in the end, I think Frimpong does well to draw in the pressure. Wirtz goes for it first time, but it's a really disappointing finish in the end, and he probably should have taken a touch. This will be another emotional moment for Liverpool and for Anfield, because Milos Kirk is about to enter the frame, and we know what that means. It's going to be the last time Andy Robertson finds himself at Anfield wearing a Liverpool shirt. Again, Anfield will rise and applaud let's be honest, one of the greats. We talk about Salah being, potentially in the top 5 greatest of, but Andy Robertson absolutely, in my eyes, gets into a greatest Liverpool 11 at left back. He absolutely does. For a period of time, for at least 2 years, he was the best left back in the world. He's possibly going to become Scotland's most capped player, and most of those caps have come when he's been at Liverpool. He's been a great servant, one of the great leaders without the armband, and there are many that think he could play another year or two at Liverpool. He wants to be right at the top level. He wants to be starting week in, week out, and that's why he's departing. But it's great to see even Jordan Henderson, who I know for a fact he's very, very good friends with, up on his feet as well, applauding. Really great to see the reaction for Andy Robertson. He departs. Milos Kirke steps onto the field. Gravenberch replaced by Trainioni. An interesting change for the midfield. But yeah, two of Liverpool's greatest ever players leaving this afternoon, and it really does feel like the end of an era today. Even more than in years gone by. It does feel like that Klopp era is done now, pretty much.
Yeah, well, we'll say nothing's permanent in football.
No, absolutely not.
Everybody has their time, and eventually everybody has to move on. But yeah, certainly, really big, huge reception there for Andy Robertson, as you could expect. Nioni now wants to replace Gravenberch. Kirkes on to replace Robertson. And we are back underway here now with 83.5 minutes on the clock. Brentford in the meantime have made a change as well. Matthias Jensen has gone off the field and he's replaced by his fellow compatriot Mikkel Damsgaard.
Yeah, he's. You mentioned earlier players being signed on international tournaments. I don't want to downplay Mikkel Damsgaard, but it felt like Brentford reacted to his fantastic Euro 2021 tournament with Denmark, and took him a couple of years to settle in, but last year and a half, 2 years, he's been really quite superb.
He has been. He's been given more time on the field. I think that's definitely helped him to actually get into the role a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, you always knew how good he was on the ball. He just perhaps wasn't able to show that initially. But it's much more confident player. Actually, just fallen away in the last couple of months. Hasn't quite been as prolific as he was at the start of the season. But Liverpool now in possession inside Brentford territory. Here is Nioni, now square towards Konate. The right-hand side here now for Frimpong. Towards Konate. Nioni now being closed down. Towards the right-hand side here for Van Dijk. He's allowed himself to range a bit further forward. Just gets that ball in towards Kerkez. Back to Van Dijk. It's with McAllister. Just edging closer and closer to this Brentford penalty area. There's a bit of pressure there on McAllister, having to play that one back into midfield. Quick ball played into it's overhit, in fact. That one goes straight through towards Kelleher.
Yeah, Liverpool's attacking play has really tailed off since Brentford equalised. They started the second half really well. They got the goal through some, well, Jurgen Klopp-esque football, if we want to quote Mohamed Salah, and the rock and roll football that he was demanding going into the final game of his Liverpool career. But since Brentford equalised, this game has just petered out. It's really had nothing going for it. Not through a lack of trying from Brentford, I will say that. They have pushed bodies forward, they've just not been able to crack the nut so far, whereas Liverpool haven't even got the nutcracker out the draw. They haven't even really tried to break it open, and it's been pretty disappointing, and to a disappointing season for Liverpool.
It has been, considering how great it was last year, and now Brentford win the ball back here in midfield, trying to play that ball through towards Igor Thiago. Frimpong steps in though and wins that ball back for Liverpool, then plays it square, and now it's just opening up for Liverpool. Loads of space down the left-hand side, and then get that ball out, and that's where it's gone. It's in towards Gakpo. Gakpo into the penalty area, is blocked, and then a strike coming in from Kerkez, takes a big deflection, it's over the bar, and it's out for a corner kick.
Yeah, it's a decent effort from Liverpool, coming forward, playing with a bit of pace again. It's what you need. Gakpo on his favoured left-hand side, cutting into on his right boot, challenged well. Kerkez showing a decent bit of energy. That strike was never troubling anybody, and in the end easily blocked and over the crossbar. Of course, he got his first ever Liverpool goal, Milos Kerkez, against Brentford in that 3-1 defeat at the G-Tech. In fact, was it 3-2 in the end? Because Mo Salah got his goal as well, didn't he? But that was a demolition from Brentford. They were way better than Liverpool that day, and the scoreline didn't reflect how much better the Bees were. This afternoon, it's been pretty level, it has to be said, and I think it's fair if the points are split.
I think so. I think from Brentford's point of view, they'll feel as though it's an opportunity missed in terms of the league table, but then at the same time, it won't feel like an opportunity missed in terms of the game, because they haven't really taken it to Liverpool for long enough spells to feel as though they deserve to be in front in this game. I think they deserve to be level, but they've got to be careful here now, because Liverpool have got possession in the final third now with Frimpong. He looks up, thought about a diagonal ball in the box, just plays it square now, and it's Nioni moving forward towards the penalty area, out towards the left-hand side. It's ball put in by Vert, it's cleared, back over towards the right-hand side now here for Soboslai. He thought about a left-footed cross, then he just rolls it towards Frimpong, who arrives just at the edge of the area. He's got options inside the box, playing a quick 1-2. Frimpong into the penalty area and just plays that ball into space, but was asking too much of himself in the end. And Brentford now win it back here with Keane Lewis Potter inside his own box. The ball deflects off Mikkel Damsgaard. He wasn't able to control it on the run. And Liverpool now push forward here down the right-hand side. The ball into the penalty area. It's cleared, and then it's Van Dijk in alien territory, you could say, at the edge of the D. In open play, the opposition D, and he sends the ball over the bar. I'm
not sure what it is, but Liverpool have had a couple of opportunities in similar positions to have a strike on goal, and they've taken it first time on every occasion. It just, really, really odd. Just take a touch, you've got the space and time. Another change being made by Brentford as Reece Nelson is going to come on to replace Keane Lewis-Potter. I'll be honest, I completely forgot Reece Nelson was at Brentford prior to January.
Well, with the amount of appearances he's had, you could argue that Keith Andrews might have forgotten the same thing as well, because he has not made an impact at all.
No.
I think he scored against Grimsby in a handsome win away from home earlier in the Carabao Cup this season. But he has been disappointing. Didn't do much when he was on loan at Fulham last season either. So it does beg the question as to what Reece Nelson's future holds, because he's by default being signed from Arsenal on loan with a very high Arsenal salary. He has been Brentford's highest paid player this season, and he's definitely not justified that.
He just needs to play football. I think he just needs to go somewhere where he can play
potentially
football.
Drop into the Championship.
Quite possibly.
I think, dare I say, I don't want to relegate them too soon, but I think he might be a decent signing for West Ham.
Yeah, potentially. Stay in London, yeah, but that is probably not a bad shout. Joe Gomez has entered the fray as well, by the way. He's come on, I believe, for Ibrahima Konate. Indeed it is. And as we said earlier on, that might be it for Ibrahima Konate at Liverpool. We do not know. I don't know who knows the answer to that, but that indeed could be his last ever game for Liverpool.
There wasn't much of a send-off, there wasn't, because obviously officially nobody still knows what's going to happen. Goals flying in elsewhere. Palace have got a goal back against Arsenal. It's 2-1. City have made it 2-2 against Aston Villa, but a long throw out from Coyote from the right-hand side is nodded clear. We've had the 90 minutes, so we're just going to wait on our fourth official to confirm how much added time. I'm predicting there's going to be a 7 displayed here as Coyote's brought down. I was way off the mark. It's going to be 10.
I'm not sure where they've got 10 from. I know we had the drinks break, and we've had some subs. I think 7 would have probably been pushing it a little bit, but I think that's probably fair because of the subs of Salah and Robertson. But 10 feels a little bit extreme, I'll be honest.
10 does feel a little bit extreme, and it does feel as though. We'll wait and see. From Brentford's point of view, they'll be happy to see the time, because whether they lose or whether they draw against Liverpool, it doesn't help them. They need to win the game, so they'll feel it as though there's more time now for them to actually be able to do something. But it's going to be Mikkel Damsgaard to take this free kick from the right-hand side. It's about 40 yards out. He floats that one into the penalty area. It's nodded across the 6-yard box. Not enough sky blue Brentford shirts in line with that to be able to take advantage. Kirkes now brings this ball away for Liverpool. Lifts it over the halfway line, over towards Frimpong. Oh, what a great touch that is from Frimpong. He leaves it now for Wirtz. Wirtz has options. He drops a shoulder. He wants to go for goal. The diagonal ball was on a little bit earlier. Igor Thiago's been absolutely taken out there. There's going to be a free kick to Brentford, and potentially a yellow card there as well. Not so sure that the Liverpool man can argue too much about that one. It's Alexis McAllister with the foul.
Yeah. Not great from McAllister. The ball was there to be won, but he's so late, as he has been all season. He's been so far behind the standard pace of play Alexis McAllister all campaign, and that kind of sums it up, really. Really disappointing from Florian Wirtz. Liverpool do really well to come forward. Kirkes feeding Frimpong, does brilliantly well to cut inside. Wirtz, so really lacking in energy. Leone wins it back and gets Liverpool on the attack.
He does as well, with the ball in from Frimpong, and it's a first-time shot, but it's straight at the goalkeeper. Just a bit of a touch on there from Szoboszlai without too much of an effort on goal. We're getting word of a 4th goal at Selhurst Park. There is a 4th goal at Selhurst Park. It's 2-2 between Crystal Palace and Arsenal. So Arsenal's title celebrations will have to be dampened down slightly. But of course, fascinating little quirk that the 2 European finalists next week have actually ended up facing each other on the last day of the season. Who would have been able to predict that at the start of the season, as the ball comes in here from the left-hand side towards Igor Thiago. He couldn't control it first time, but then as Damsgaard turns, he's then blocked by Leone, so it's going to be a throw onto Brentford in an attacking position.
Really poor from Dominic Szoboszlai there. He went really loose. You know, in those positions with Michael Coyote on the field, you can't afford to have to put the ball out of play. Cannot give the ball away there and ask too much of his defenders. Disappointing from Szoboszlai, who's not been great this afternoon in the slightest. And, well, a big opportunity here for Brentford. They capitalised on Liverpool's lack of defensive quality in the reverse fixture. What can they do here?
Well, the long throw from Coyote, and already the ball barely even had time to land inside the penalty area. And there's going to be a yellow card there for Vitaly Janel. Whether that's for the foul or indeed for the verbals towards the referee afterwards, we'll have to see exactly what happened here. But well, no, I mean, Janel wasn't involved at all, so he's obviously been booked for saying something to the referee, because as we can see, Sir Keith Andrews. I certainly couldn't broadcast what I lip read there, but he was absolutely furious with the fourth official, who has absolutely nothing to do with the referee's decision, of course, but it's just essentially it's just a punch bag for the managers to be able to air their grievances. I always think the managers shout at the fourth official match, hoping that maybe something from his mouthpiece might just make it down the referee's earpiece. I think that's the idea behind it, isn't it? But yeah, confirmation there. Yellow card for Italiano. We've still got 6 minutes plus to play here in terms of the injury time at Anfield. Just looking across down the bottom of the league, still no change. Spurs are only at 88 minutes against Everton, though. They were very late coming out for their second half. So potentially there may still be some drama there. The goal that Palace scored to put themselves at 2-2 with Arsenal has been chalked off by VAR. So Arsenal still leading at Selhurst Park. They're into the 3rd minute of added time at that game. There's going to be a yellow card here now in the middle of the park for, just trying to see who that was for though. Darren England is unhappy about something. But the referee making a note now, just still can't quite see. I think it might have been Nathan Collins not moving or not giving the ball back. What's happened there?
I don't think he's happy with where the free kick's been taken from Darren England, and Nathan Collins tried to take it 3 times, and eventually the referee's had enough and yellow carded the Brentford skipper. I just seemed a little bit pedantic, to be honest, at this stage of the game. By the way, Phil Foden's equaliser also got ruled out for offside as well, so City still look as though they're going to fall to defeat in Guardiola's last game, as Nioni's just brought down Dongo Ouattara.
He has, yeah. I mean, if Nathan Collins is getting booked for wasting time with a free kick inside his own half, well, there's no logic to that whatsoever, because of course it's in Brentford's interest to actually have more time in this game. They don't want this game to end in a draw. West Ham, we're hearing, have got a 3rd goal against Leeds, but it might be too little too late as the ball comes in from Damsgaard. That's an awful ball. It's catching practice for Alisson. Straight into the arms of the Brazilian goalkeeper, who bowls this out quickly, and suddenly Liverpool are on the counter as the ball is down the left-hand side. Szoboszlai into the penalty area for Florian Wirtz, who hits the post, and the ball is wide. Oh, it's such a glorious chance for Liverpool to win it late on, but in the end it goes just wide. And it looked to me as though when that ball was played across, Wirtz really had all the goal to aim for.
I think this has been saved by Kelleher. It has been saved by Kelleher. He takes so long to strike that Florian Wirtz. It allows Kelleher not necessarily to get across, but to get closer to Wirtz and make the save easier. Really poor from the German, who just wants far too much time on the ball. Liverpool should be 2-1 up. Fantastic counter-attack, not capitalised on by the £100 million man. And yeah, really, really disappointing. But a chance now from the corner.
A chance now from the corner is going to be whipped in here from from the left-hand side by the right boot of Dominic Szoboszlai. By the way, the game at the London Stadium is the first one to go to full time today, so West Ham have done their bit, but it is going to be not enough. You get the feeling that Everton aren't going to have time to score twice at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Here comes Szoboszlai's ball into the box. It's nodded clear. Second ball picked up here by Frimpong just outside the penalty area, exchanging a quick pass with Curtis Jones down the right-hand side. Now it's with Wirtz. What about a cross, but then just plays it into Frimpong. Frimpong into the penalty area, just too many Brentford bodies around him. Igor Thiago with the challenge. Has he been able to avoid giving away a corner kick? I think the answer to that is no. It is going to be a corner here to Liverpool on the right-hand side.
Yeah, poor from Frimpong. He's got to use his pace there once he gets in the gap and burst away from his men. Instead, he takes too long on the ball and he allows the challenge to come in. And an opportunity once again from the corner, but time ticking for either of these two sides to go on and win it.
There'll be an outswinger here from Dominic Szoboszlai. About 2.5 minutes of the allocated 10 to be played. As the ball comes in, it's headed away at the near post by Vandenberg. Back into midfield. Frimpong keeping it alive, plays it in towards Jones. Back to Szoboszlai again. Curtis Jones into the middle. It's good pressing there from Igor Thiago, just trying to make it as difficult as possible. Dango Ouattara is there as well for Brentford. Liverpool forced back towards the halfway line. The diagonal ball attempted this time, and it's a good one as well from Curtis Jones over towards the left-hand side. A cross coming into the penalty area, but the ball nodded down into the arms of Kelleher, who falls as he punts that one long. But the idea was to get the ball forward as quickly as possible. That's a good bit of control there in midfield from Igor Thiago. He's really fighting to keep that ball alive for Brentford, and he's able to do it. He finds Michael Coyote, who drops the shoulder, gets away from two. Here is Coyote down towards Dango Ouattara. Was there an offside? The flag stays down. Still Dango Ouattara trying to dance his way into the penalty area, just trying to do a little bit too much in the end. When the cross was on in the end, Leone with the clearance and up towards the halfway line. But there's a nervousness around Liverpool when Brentford get in possession.
Yeah, absolutely, because they're all over the place, Liverpool. And you think, similar to that Chelsea game, when you've got the ball, you've got to take the sting out of it if you're under pressure, but they cannot keep hold of the ball. When you've got Frimpong just dropping on the floor trying to challenge like that, you're going to be in trouble. Verso with a great interception and maybe setting forward Liverpool on the attack.
Yeah, chance here now for Liverpool as Soboslai turns and then plays the ball slightly behind. There's still a chance here for Liverpool to get forward as Kirkes now looks up and tries to get an early ball into the box. That's well marshalled by Nathan Collins. Brentford to get the second ball in midfield, and they have a chance to get forward now with Damsgaard. That's a good ball from Damsgaard to find Dango Ouattara. Ouattara then moving forward towards the penalty area. He's got options here over on the left-hand side. He plays it in towards Nelson. Nelson now has a runner here on the left-hand side. Arriving here is Damsgaard. Damsgaard playing it back to Janelt. Damsgaard carried on his run. It's all the way to the byline. He looks up. What options has he got into the penalty? Oh, it's a really tame header. Ball going across there from Igor Thiago, but the ball recycled by Brentford here. And it's another chance now for Janelt to get across it this time. Header is wide. What a great chance that is. Put wide in the end there by Dango Ouattara. Keith Andrews with his head in his hands because he knows with 30 seconds of the allocated 10 minutes, that could be it for Brentford.
Huge opportunity. Absolutely huge opportunity. Liverpool disgraceful in defence. Frimpong left running up and down the near side of the penalty area with Soboslai and Jones just watching him. It's far too easy for the cross to come in from Vitaly Janelt, and that had to be 2-1. Huge opportunity for Brentford to win this one, and it's been squandered. Liverpool, in probably the last 20 minutes or so, you'd maybe argue deserve to have conceded given how poor they've been defensively, but it looks as though it's going to finish 1-1. And a pretty damp ending to a pretty damp season, I think.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately it's also a damp ending for Brentford as the referee looks at his watch, and that is time at Anfield, and so it finishes here. An era of Robertson and Salah from Liverpool's point of view. They've had their final games. Liverpool have finished the season with a disappointing 1-1 draw. It's also disappointing for Brentford, who don't make European competitions. It's finished Liverpool 1, Brentford 1. Thank you very much for joining us.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting markets, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on